accidentally stopped the video instead of pausing it. Hour later, or more, 2 hours later, my mom came in my room, and started talking to me. Yeah.
What? You got Chip?
Sit down. Um, don't you ever stop with my stuff. You understand me? You understand me? Look at me. You understand me? Don't you ever step on my stuff again. Sit down. Watch your paw. Sit down. Basically just talking about adjusting her watch. Anyway, back to the main hour. I was discussing reading the Bible. You want to try me? Oh, didn't think so. Remember to play this time. Anyway. Again. We'll talk about reading. Not understanding something. And then we start reading chapter 3 and 4. I don't know. Let me know what to do.
Alright, Cujo, who you growling at?
The Lord's judgment on sin. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the say and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. And I read this a few hours ago because I didn't read it through. I was saying how I fake read it through the first time, and I'm reading it through, and I only got to read the first verse, until my mom came in. It made me think, supply all your needs kind of situation. God or the Lord is taking away the provision of things. That's what it sounds like. I have to poop. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the ancient. These are like big people, I guess. Because if I'm thinking about the topic, the subtitle, it says the Lord's judgment on sin. This could be saying who he's judging, maybe? The captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. And of course, this phone would be dead. Wait a second. Respectfully, I have to take a poop. We're just going to go to the bathroom. We're gonna get rid of the bottom. Yep. Yep. I like that the phone just automatically turned on the light for me. Okay. I think I'm just about done. It literally took like 2 seconds. Not that that's your business. It's kind of TMI, but yeah. I'm gonna turn on the light now. There was no problem with me turning on the lights beforehand. I just really had to poop, and that was the only thing that was on my mind. But I'm not sure if I want to leave the bathroom just yet. I'm done completely. But I want to leave the bathroom because this bathroom is cold. This light doesn't feel bright enough. Oh, but then I'd have to reach the off the light. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the brightness that I need. Okay. Point of view is probably gonna be different now. Sorry, you're gonna be looking at me on the bathroom. Okay. So, still on that. Yeah, this is what I do. This is the real me, the real deal. So yeah, I was gonna say don't judge me, but anyway, I think I need to look up. Eloquent orator. When I think of orator, I don't know what that means, but I think of like oral, and I think oral means oral means to speak and stuff like that with mouth things. So I'm assuming that orator, eloquent orator is one that like kind of like a speaker is what I'm assuming, but I'm going to actually look it up when I get out the bathroom. But if we were to move forward with reading, it says, and I will give children to be. Their princes and babes shall rule over them, and the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. So from that verse, or those two verses, if the theme is judgment and sin, maybe these things are sin, and explaining that this is something that will happen. People are oppressed. If oppressed means basically wrongly doing, or somebody's being wronging another group of people, that I do know. So the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another, which means somebody's oppressing another, and everyone by his neighbor. When you think of neighbor, someone that's in your area that lives with you, not live with you, but really close by, or some type of relation that you have to them, literally, like maybe like physically, or just commonality because your neighbor, you live in the same area. It's a good chance that you live similarly if it's your neighbor. You might be in the same tax bracket, you might be in the same profession, you might be in the same circumstances or very similar. So when I think of a neighborhood, I think about how I used to live on the low end for the longest. Because we had low income, that's our neighbors, that's the thing that our community had in common. We were black or Hispanic, minorities with similar situations, whereas we didn't have lots of income from one way or another, right? placed in a group community together based on a commonality. So when I think of your neighbor, of being oppressed by a neighbor, I think of that as being wronged by people that are so much like you. And that makes me think of black on black crime, or people that are in the same situation as you, basically oppressing you, right? As well, or on top of other people oppressing you, is what I think of. I will give children to be their princes and babes to shower over them. That just kind of means like younger people in charge, which is kind of, the child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient probably meaning elder. Maybe we should look into behaving proudly. Because when I think behave proudly, obviously, I don't think this is a good connotation. I think it's in a bad way. And then being the fact that judging sin probably would also help me confirm that thought too. Behaving proudly against the ancient, that kind of sounds like a more disrespect your elders kind of thing. The new generation acting as if they're better than the old generation, when the new generation doesn't know much better than the old generation. They have more advancement. We have different advancement. I feel like we like middle at this point. If we were 90s baby, we damn near just like middle ground at this point. You have the old people that are still alive, so old school. You got these new riffraff, new school. Some of them, not all of them, is riffraff, so apologies towards my words. Majority of them have great capabilities, but they so caught up in other stuff right now that this is not working for the community how it needs and should be right now, right? And then the 90s baby, I feel like we middle child, because I feel like we've all grown up with elders, so that has impact on us being like old school in a sense, or still having like an old soul. And then we're still young enough to be able to relate to new generations because we've been able to adapt, because we're still technically really young. So the base against the honorable. When you think of base, I think of like, sorry for the screaming. My mom is watching Charmed in her room, in the bathrooms next to her room. If you don't know, Charmed is basically a show about witches that try to save the world and protect good citizens. Yeah. Yeah. I used to love watching that show, but I told myself that I wouldn't watch it because it's important of what you're consuming, and I ain't trying to play with none of that. Okay. So as much as I love watching that show, I instantly cut it off. I stopped watching it. Mind you, during the beginning of my, I ain't gonna say beginning, but the more seriousness of my journey of trying to live right, I was in the middle of watching the new season of Charmed. And when I realized I had to stop watching it, I was just like, damn. You know, but it's okay. I mean, I still watch TV that's kind of like trash, but not about that. No. I'm working on it. They need to put Chosen back up is what they need to do. They need to come out with another season. That's what they need to do. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou a ruler, and let this man room be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be a leader, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Take me not a ruler of the people, for Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his sin. So that's another thing. What made that so bad, or the world is fallen, is that in his family, whoever this person is, going to be a young person, the people or family around him is like, you are meant to be great, or you will be a great ruler. You can do X, Y, Z. And then he's like, absolutely not. I am not that person. Because I'm basically not equipped. I don't have anything. I don't wear anything. I don't have the clothing. I don't have to look for it. I don't have the whatever that's equipped to be this big dog. And then the Bible says it's fallen because the things that you speak matters. So it's something, hold on. So it's definitely something that I am trying to watch too. Like, watch what you say. Because your tongue holds power. So if you're going to speak anything over your life, it should be something positive and not what you can't do. Don't say you can't do something. Don't say you're incapable of doing something. There isn't anything that you are incapable of doing as long as the Lord is on your side and providing for you. So speaking that in yourself is already placing you in a position to where things can happen, which is why I've been recently really trying to watch what I say, because the things that you say can come to fruition, especially if you do hold a certain kind of power. You feel me? So even when I'm praying, I'm like trying not to say I can't do things, because there's nothing that I can't do. Right? I am a strong individual. Sometimes I don't feel that way, right? So that's one thing, because my feelings are my feelings, but it's not my capability. So even when I pray, I'll start it saying, hey, I feel like this. I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling this, because I don't want to say I can't do something or I'm not good at. I used to be like, oh, I'm not good at this. I'm good at a lot of things. I used to tell people, well, I didn't tell people I couldn't sing. I just never told people I do sing. So when people ask, can you sing? I'd be like, that's literally always my response. Yes, I can sing. Yes, I can draw. Yes, I like math. Yes, I know how to read. Yes, I know how to talk. I don't always like doing it. A lot of people, I would tell people I can't speak in public, or I hate doing it. I don't care for it. I can do it. I never said I couldn't do it well either. None of these things have came in my mouth. It's just, I do feel socially anxious for a lot of things that people don't understand. And a lot of people say I don't come off as a person that is socially anxious. But internally, it's something that I have always been struggling with, of just like my mental. And so you need to get your mental together. And you also need to watch your mouth for everything. So this person is saying that he's not a leader. But if his family is like telling him Shall he swear saying, I will not be a healer. He's saying he won't be a healer. For my house is neither bread nor clothing, make me not a ruler of the people. He's basically already messing up his future by saying what he's not gonna be. Sweetie, since the day I was born as a kid, I knew I'm gonna be making money. I'm a low-class citizen right now. I'm 25. I've been a low-class citizen since then. But there is nothing in my body or mind that never not thought that I was going to be living it up when I got older. There's still no doubt in that. Okay? I don't know if I'm going to be like extremely wealthy, but I have always known in my mind and heart that that is going to happen for me. It's not happening how I expected it to. Certain things in life turns around, but never would I ever, and nor have I ever said that I'm not gonna have this and not gonna be this and not gonna be that. I don't know what I will be, but I know for a fact I am successful and going to be successful in everything that I do, including my relationship with God. And I know that for a fact, okay? Every now and then those feelings of doubt creep in. But you don't want to verbally speak just like hopelessness over your life just automatically. Like, you don't do that. Because man, oh man, will the universe and the devil and all the people eavesdropping will try to use that against you. And for this man to say he won't be a healer, that's a big deal. Because I think God uses his people, however many he has, because, like, you know, at the moment he has few, but being on this earth, few, I think when they say our mind and his mind isn't the same, that definitely got to be the case, because I feel like few in my mind is like 2 or 3, but being the fact that it's probably 8 million billion people on this earth. Is it 8 billion or 8 million? First it was 7, and now it's 8. 8 billion people on this earth, on this planet right now, counting. To me, a few seems like, what if it's only like 100,000, if that gets into heaven? And me being paranoid, like, yo, but a few could mean more than half to God, you know? And I didn't actually think about that till now, because, like, what if God is like this big old giant? Because, like, if he's everywhere, like that, the earth is big. Like, how are you everywhere? You gotta be, if you can watch everywhere, you gotta be everywhere at the same time. Like, I don't know, as a kid, I just pictured God as like a normal bodied human being if we're made in his image. He could be made in our image, but what if he's like ginormous? What if he was just like huge, like scarishly huge? Because the people, how they like draw these, what angels look like, how freakishly scary they look like. I would be scared to see an angel in my room too, in the middle of the night. Probably in broad daylight. Like, I would be freaked out, you know? Imagine what God looked like. That's pretty scary. What if he was just humongous? So what if few for him was like 50 billion times our size? You feel me? But how many ever people he has on this earth for himself? I think like God places certain people on the earth to do certain things because, you know, like, I feel like if certain gifts people have, it's for a reason. So when I think about my uncle, he said he was always like good at talking, right? He feels comfortable speaking. So for him, God can use you. You're good at speaking. You're good at getting a message across. So I need you to be a healer in the sense of talking sense into people, because they will listen to you. And if I can get people to listen, because I need people to see me and obey my word and do what I need them to do, I need them to listen. I need them to comprehend what I need them to know. And if you're a person capable of speaking in a good way and that's understood, then I can use you, because you're going to be the person that I give as a messenger. You're going to be the person that I use to talk to people who can understand what you're saying, and I'm going to use you for that. If you're a person, let's use my friend Philip Nehemiah. We're going to call him friend for the purpose of this. Me and that man has, I ain't gonna say a love-hate relationship, because it's not really hate. It's more like I would mess somebody up if they touched you, but I'm also gonna keep my distance. You can stay over there. But if anybody fuck with you, best believe that ain't happening. That's the kind of relationship I feel like we have, and he has with all his past friends. We don't agree, we don't see eye to eye on certain things. We only agree on this one thing, and that's wanting to go to heaven, trying to be in the right mind, living right. That's the one thing we have in common. That's the only thing that's keeping, I guess, both of us in each other's good graces, because I do not contact that man very often. He doesn't contact me very often. We don't see eye to eye. But at the same time, if you touched him, you would get fucked up. Okay? Because loyalty runs deep with certain things. He is very street smart. Like, he's very, I don't know what to say. Like, he's just good at, like, I feel like he's really observant. He learns information, like, not in the sense of, like, intake, but in the sense of, like, he's so observant to situations. I don't know how to describe what's in my head, like, but I think he gets a lot of respect from people, because he's like, for the lack of better terms, he's just a hustler. Like, so if we were placed in a position where survival skills, he would definitely be a person you would want around. Like, he would be a person that could figure out how to survive, if that makes sense. My brother, the one that passed away, he was like really curious about a lot of stuff, and really observant in the sense of intake. He could intake information and catch on real quick. He was the person, he really liked technology. He really liked tampering with things. He would take things apart because he wanted to know how everything worked and put them back together, just so he could understand how the thing was put together in the first place, how things were structured, to decipher what everything means and things like that. He said he used to read the dictionary for fun. He had a really great vocabulary. And if he didn't know what a word meant, I remember telling him that I wanted to be a psychoanalyst when I was older. And we had this conversation. I was like, I don't know what that is. But he's like, little sister, I don't know what that is. And that was the first time I ever heard him say he didn't know what something was, because I was just like, what? But then he sat up and, like, broke down the entire word of what meant what, and was like, well, I know this is this and this and this and this, so I would assume, or my guess would be, it's this. Maybe it wasn't a psychoanalyst, maybe it was something else, but it was a word that I said, and he, like, broke down the word just to guess what it was. And then I was like, that's exactly what it is. He was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. But the way that he was able to figure it out simply because he breaks things apart, figures out those pieces, and then puts them back together, that is also a very good skill to have, right? My dad, actually, no, I'm gonna go back to my brother real quick. The way that I think that's so useful, the first thing that comes to mind is just the Bible itself, is that he would be a person that I should have been asking to break the Bible down for me to understand. He probably would have been a great person to have a Bible study with. You feel me? Probably would have been the perfect person to have a Bible study with for me to understand what's being said. Because he read the Bible from front to back, and he said he has a couple of times. So, um, but that makes me think about like the base and foundations of things, breaking things apart, knowing how they work to be able to put them together. Your entire foundation needs to be well put together, and you need to know how things are structured to be secure in yourself, in your relationship with God, and your place on this earth. My daddy just knows how to do every damn thing. Like, nothing the man can't do. Like, the man learns how to make himself fly. I guarantee you that man will probably figure it out. Like, you know. And he would tell me that that's always been the mindset that he had. Is that if I can see the next person do it, then that means there's nothing different about me and him. If he has the brain capacity to do it, then so can I. If it's been done, then I can learn how to do it. So, to have that eagerness to know how to do everything and be good at it, making sure you're good at everything that you do, that's useful. And if you're good at what you do, so as you've studied it, that kind of makes me think of like a loyalty thing. If I were Jesus, I would want someone like that on my side. Someone that's just so careful in what they're doing and confident in what they're doing, where they're good at what they do. They've took the time to study everything. Maybe I would trust them with certain things. Like, I would trust their judgment, like knowing certain things, because you know that they're a person that does the work and takes pride in doing good work. Johnson, when he was alive, he was so positive. I was never around him, whereas I didn't feel extremely happy or just grateful to be in his presence. Someone said there was like a little light around him. I promise you could feel it. Like, I know some people don't care for stuff like that, but I promise you could definitely feel light around that man. Like, without a doubt. Like, he tried to be big and hard gangsta stuff, but like, tried to be big and bad because he was so small, just so people would take him serious. But no doubt that Like, no one's perfect, but you could feel it. Certain people have certain presences, or like for them too. Yeah, I like to say auras or whatever, but certain people got that, you know? Like, you just feel a certain way whenever you get around them. He definitely was one of them. And he was going through a lot, and he did not complain. That teaches you to be grateful for what's given to you, what's not given to you, not to complain. I feel like that's a character trait of gratitude that you can learn from that, to stay positive. And I feel like that keeps up with faith, because whenever things are going wrong, for you to sit up and complain about it as if God wouldn't take care of you, you need to have better faith. But if you can sit up and just, regardless of any situation, just smile and be like, thank you Jesus for everything, I think that's the strength and faith that you have, that I feel like you can learn. And I feel like God places people in your life to teach you that. And in a way, you are being a healer with that kind of situation. Philip told me when we used to hang out, because he used to be in my crib a lot, he was just like, whenever I'm around you, I just feel really calm. It's like, he's like, you have a calmness to you. My brother, when he was alive, I would hug him, and he would calm down. My uncle, whenever I would be around him, I would hug him, and he would just be like, your hugs could save lives. That's actually how I'm a therapist today, or whatever. I'm going to school to be a therapist, because I never thought of myself much about it, but I liked the idea of making people feel better, which is technically just healing someone in one way, shape, or another. So just because, my point is that this man is saying that he wouldn't be these things, but little do you know, you have certain qualities about you because God placed those things in you to heal, and for you to say with your mouth that you aren't the thing that God placed you in the world to be is kind of like a slap in the face. And that is kind of what I think this passage is saying, or this verse is saying. It says their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. Meaning, God gives people, or his people, certain gifts and things about him to bring glory. So, with Oren, when he was alive, he was really smart, he was really observant, really technical, really nerdy, if you didn't know him on the low. He didn't look like he was nerdy. Like, no one, even Uncle G, I had a conversation with my uncle. He was like, you wouldn't have guessed Oren to be there. I was like, yeah. I was like, no one would, but I lived with him. I knew him for a while, since I knew him his entire life, literally. So, by first glance, you wouldn't think it, but Oren was just, he was a nerd. He just didn't look like a nerd, and he purposely tried to act out not like a nerd, because people made fun of him because he was a nerd. He got bullied a lot growing up. That's probably why he's not here now. But actually, and then there is. But I feel like God gives you certain things to bring glory to him. God gives gifts to people so people could see what God can do. Not just for your own personal gain, but just like, you have talent because I gave you talent, because I need people to see what I can do with people. And you ain't even gotta have like a lot. You just need to have something I need people to see what kind of God I am, what I could do with a person, the potential that I could do, and more. So when I think of Oren, that man was a threat to society. Like, no doubt. That man would have been dangerous, like lethally dangerous. Not in the sense of him killing no one, because Oren had morals. I don't know what y'all thought my brother was. The man was not no thug. He wasn't a gangbanger. He thought he was, but he didn't do none of that. And even family members, like, he wasn't that kind of person. He tried to be big and bold, and he tried to portray to be big and bold, but Oren didn't do none of that. Oren had morals. Oren grew up. He was a nerd that looked like a black boy. But mentally, that man was dangerous because that man would have been very dangerous because how smart a person is, how well a person can learn something, how deep in detail a person could pick, like, just lethally dangerous. Just dangerous mentally, like a threat to society. I think music-wise, Philip has a fan base. The fact that he uses his fan base to make church music, not church music, just to talk about God, that's more of a gift. God would use you for that. Johnson was just positive. I don't know. My point is, certain things about you can bring glory to the name of God. I didn't realize that about myself until maybe high school-ish. Maybe halfway through high school. Because when I tell you, I didn't really think much about myself. I just, I don't, like, and when I say not much about myself, I don't mean, like, I don't think I'm worthy of anything. I mean, like, I didn't go outside thinking about myself as someone that could impact another. As I just didn't think that for long. That was not my mindset. I just, little old me walking outside, going to school. I'm going to school because I'm supposed to go to school. That's it, that's all. I didn't think of myself worthy of someone that would be used until one day, weirdly, it's a weird situation, but thank you, dude. Just wait, thank you. Just
Sure. You found your
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somewhere. And this is just that.
It would have been right here. So the fact that it's not, I don't know.
Laying on the floor.
I know, but it's where'd you go? Like,
Somewhere
you smell
on
great.
this bed, probably.
You're great.
Huh?
It was right there. I know, it's
Well,
not.
I'm sure it's somewhere.
So I'm confused because it was there. Now it's not, but it's not from before. Anyway. A weird story. I was in school with this girl. I called her Lily. I have this like, I'll be weird. Sometimes I'll be talking as if I'm high and I'm stuff. I'll be sleepy. I don't do drugs. And I feel like I wonder if people think I'll be like high because I be talking slow and stuff sometimes. No, I'll be feeling sleepy. But anyway, I have this little thing that I do. Like, that's just, I've been doing that. But I be sleeping. But, and yesterday I had a really long shift. I went to work at 6 in the morning, got off at 8, and I still didn't get home till like 2 in the morning because I wait on my mom sometimes when it's home. So I'm actually pretty tired. So for doing over 12 hours of a work shift non-stop and then coming home and barely, getting 8 hours of sleep, still gotta do other stuff. I'm pretty tired. I'm glad I didn't take the shift. Maybe next week. But I do that little click thing. I've done that for a while. Even in the songs that I do. Even in the songs I do. Sorry. Oh. I thought somebody was texting me. I was like, what? Who was you talking to? It was a YouTube notification about some, I don't know. But it says, it wasn't a text message. I thought somebody was texting me. I was just like, excuse you? Because I ain't text nobody, so I'm trying to figure out. Oh, anyway. Even in my songs, I do the little click sound. And one day, I was having a conversation in school, and whenever I finished my sentence or did something, I'd be like, that, like, it's just a habit that I did. Like, I still do that. Like, it's just my thing, right? And I noticed that people start trying to copy me doing that. And I was so curious to why. Like, I seen one of my friends do it silently, and I was just like, why'd you do it silently? Like, why'd you just, like, repeat it? And that's not, like, why? Like, it's just, oh, okay. And, like, it wasn't abnormal, because, like, it was a lot of things that, like, when you hang with groups, you pick groups and friends and stuff, you pick up their mannerism. But I didn't realize that, like, my friends were picking up some of my mannerisms. Like, I know when, like, I hang around my friends, I start picking up their mannerism. But only because, like, if I like it, then, like, But to think that someone would do it to me, just, like, I couldn't fathom that. And then, even getting older now, I'm still very, very young, but, like, older, like, an adult, like, actually over 21. I noticed that even my mom might pick up on habits that I do. Like, so it's something that I didn't think of myself, much more of just, like, doing something, but then realizing that there is someone that pays you attention. There is someone that might look at the things that you're doing and think they're useful or want to apply it to themselves. And you may not think you are equipped of being a person that's good enough to do so. But just because you feel like you're not doesn't mean that you aren't. It just means that you don't see it. But 9 times out of 10, there are so many people that probably see you and your potential or greatness in you that you may not see on your own, that you might need help seeing from other people. And so this man is saying that he doesn't think he's a healer. He's not going to bring forth these things when the people in his family are just like, you are definitely going to do this. You are going to be this. Because they probably see it. And for you not to see it in yourself, it's just like, God is like, I'm giving you these gifts to bring glory to me, and you're telling me you're not going to do it? Damn, it's like you just told me I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know? So, that's the ending of that section. We're still in chapter 3. Sorry for the rants. The impudence of the people. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin. As Sodom, they hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Some of those words I don't know. Where's my laptop? Says my phone. It's not charged. Off the back of not knowing what some of those words meant, or remembering what other words meant, that just sounds like people that it's giving no remorse. So let me just go ahead and just like actually look this stuff up without trying to flash on it being like no underwear on. Well, I have underwear on. Let me rephrase that. I just have my underwear on. But I managed. You only seen the blanket. I'm gonna try that. Excuse me. If you're talking about Jesus and then showing you on my butt. Okay. I'm gonna look up the word. What was the word I was supposed to look up on here? Okay. Countenance apparently means facial expression. I just realized, huh? It means facial expression. This pen is blue. I don't think I've ever written in my Bible with a blue pen. I don't think I want to start either. Yikes. Okay. Facial expression. Impudence means lack of regards or disrespect. So the section's about basically how people are disrespected or being disrespectful or have no regard. So the show of their countenance or facial expression doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. That's a capital S-O-D-O-M. I don't know what that is. I'm just assuming a person or place. They hide it not. So not hiding their facial expressions, not hiding your face. Not hiding your face what means showing your true colors. Woe unto their soul. Woe is like when you feel like sorry or mourning, or I think it might be mercy, if I remember that correctly. For they have rewarded evil into themselves. So they're bringing it upon themselves. Say yea to the righteous, that it shall be well with him. So tell the righteous people, you're going to be okay, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Meaning, regardless what goes around comes around, whether it's good or bad. So to the righteous people, even though people in the world are showing no regard, no care, and they aren't trying to hide the evilness at this point, they're accepting it, they've rewarded it, they've basically put this upon themselves. For the righteous, for you, don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. For they shall eat the fruit of their doings as well. Meaning, you did well, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about that. They ain't gonna get what's coming to them, but you gonna get what's coming to you, and since you're okay, chill out. Don't worry about that. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hand shall be given to him. Meaning, you reaping what you sow, regardless of what you sow. I gave you your food.
You want a cup?
Oh, a few. As for my people, as for is italicized or emphasized. Children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. When I first read this, I just got like, why we gotta down women and everything? like even in the Bible, like basically it's saying like the world is backwards. Children, young people, should not be oppressing, and women should not be ruled or be ruling over anyone. So what they mean in a literal term, you should consider this because thank you. Women are not supposed to rule. Thank you. God didn't intend for women to be in charge, right? Man, woman, children, right? So for it to say women ruling, basically out of nature, out of order. And when I first read this, I got offended because I was like, damn, they finna keep coming for girls. But when I read the Bible study app that I have, that has upgraded to kind of like explaining scriptures now, thankfully. I also say thank God. And the Bible app, it's the one that I have, is supposed to like give you the description. What it says is like the purpose of it is supposed to like basically say things are out of order. It doesn't necessarily mean literal women and children, but just aware of like the stereotype of women not technically being, in charge, and so like that would be abnormal to happen. So it's more like a figurative message when they say children are oppressors and women rule. And they're basically just trying to say that things are out of order. And so as a woman reading this, don't get too offended, because the Bible isn't really like bashing women. That's not the point. Because God don't play about his daughters either. He's basically saying that certain things are out of order. Like, things are not supposed to be how they are. But for some people, this was how things, you know, this will be how things are happening or occurring. As for my people, children are their precious, and women rule over them. And my people, they which lead thee, cause thee to err and destroy the way of their paths. I'm going to underline destroy the way of the paths. Basically, what I guess I thought of that was that because things are so out of order, God's people will still be around these things, and because of this, we could still be influenced to get us off track, or trying to make us off track. The Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard, the spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye that ye be my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord of hosts? That, I'm gonna have to read it again because my brain said what? The Lord will enter into judgment. Enter into. Is that an interesting word placement? Because enter into judgment. To start to become involved in something, especially in discussion or agreement. So basically saying the Lord will start to get involved. Start to become involved in judgment with the ancients of his people. Meaning he's judging the older people and the princes thereof. I guess princes are important because they're also people that have leadership in a way, people of influence. For ye have, then they have the colon. So I looked up colon. So colon is something that just basically expands, for lack of better words, the thought that was previously on the other side of the colon. So punctuations. So this is a colon. If you don't know, there's no shame in this because we don't judge. Okay? Just in case if anyone's watching that didn't know what it was. And even if I know what it is, ironically, I never learned in school what it was. You just kind of like figured it out, but like, I never properly was taught what it was. I just knew what it was anyway. I don't know. But recently, I went back just to try to properly teach myself. A lot of people basically say think of it as like an equal sign. It's basically like I'm trying to think 1 minute. I don't know how to mentally explain how my brain thinks when they think of this, but basically, it's kind of like an expansion on the idea that you just stated previously. Because, like, with semicolons, it could be, like, used separately, but, like, maybe explaining is not my best suit. But basically, it says the Lord, let me try this. The Lord will enter into judgment or start being involved in judgment with the ancients of his people, or his older people, and the princes, probably people of influence. And then it says colon. For ye have eaten up the vineyard. So he's coming into judgment for the fact that these people have eaten up the vineyard. Not vineyard, vineyard. I keep saying vineyard. The last time I looked up vineyard, if you don't know, like the things with grapes and stuff. The reason I looked up vineyard was because the specialness about vineyards. I wrote this down somewhere. Maybe it's on this one. See, vineyard's supposed to. Whatever. How do I remember this? Vineyards. Grapes. My mind is blank. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus, because that's the problem. I'm gonna show that stuff, because anyway. Because I know in my head, but I don't know what to say aloud. I'm trying to think. The importance. I don't know where I was trying to go with this. I do and I don't. Vineyards, if you don't know, they're basically in relation to like grapes. Grapes is what makes wine, if you didn't know that. Well, smashing them and all that other stuff. But they're important for that reason. But what that also brings, in ancient days, I guess, wealth. But in the Bible, it's a symbol of something else. Something to do with God's people. And this is important. He's starting to judge these people in the back because they've done something to affect someone else. And then after it has a semicolon, it says the spoil of the poor is in your houses. So that makes me just like, the reason that certain things are happening today is because of people in the past did something to influence this. And then it keeps happening because of that. So of course God's judging those people for that, because you're people of like power and you need to use your influences for good. But I'm trying to get into detail of exactly why, and my mind is just like blank on how to explain certain things that's going through my head. What me that he beat my people to pieces and ground the faces of the poor. Maybe it'll come back to me. Judgment for the women's pride. Ooh, okay. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty. Haughty is more like I guess arrogant. Because I remember looking up that word when I was like in middle school. I think, for lack of a better term, I'd say arrogance. It's not a word that you want to be described as, I can tell you that. More like from what I remember, it's arrogant, but I don't know if it's like conceited or like a type of arrogance, but it's definitely like, let's see. Okay, so yeah. Arrogant in the sense of disrespectful. Okay. Because when I think of arrogance, I think of arrogance as like cocky, and then arrogance as in like rude. They mean the like arrogance isn't like disrespectful kind of arrogance. Okay. And walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. I don't know what wanton eyes mean, like at all. Like I knew what the word haughty meant, but a wonton, I don't know. Walking and mincing is like, only mincing I think of is like minced garlic. So I'm gonna look at wonton because I don't know what that means at all. Let's see, let's find out. deliberate, or provoked. Unprovoked. Deliberate. Let's look up mincing. Chopped garlic. Finely divided. Delicate. Moving or behaving in an affectedly dainty or delicate way. Okay. So these women are prissy, rude, stretch forth necks, so like walking with their head up. That's so funny. All the old people used to make these like sayings, and then these are some of these sayings are coming from. And making a tinkling with their feet. So these people think that they the stuff. They walking around thinking that they don't stink. Okay. Therefore the Lord will smite. Smite means kind of like strike. Yeah. With a scab. Scab isn't like the scabs off our womb scabs, or like Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. And the Lord will discover their secret parts. And that day the Lord will take away their bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cowls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets, and the earrings, the rings, and those jewels, and those jewels. The fact that bonnets is in the Bible. The changeable suits of apparel, and mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stank, and instead of girdle and rent, and instead of well set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher and girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. So basically all that, just basically I could tell he gonna take it away. I don't even think I gotta go much further. It's just like everything. Women walking around like they smack don't stink. Walking around being rude because they have it like that, because they're pretty, because they look like that. That stuff will be taken away. That man shall fall by the sword, and the mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So basically everything that you had, you ain't gonna have it no more. And it's like, yeah, no, totally understandable. I'm looking through my Bible because like I highlight things, specific colors, and I'm trying to remember a color that I use for something like this. And I think I don't know why I'm going this far. Like I've been using different highlighters for each.
You hungry?
No. Specific. I'm looking for a specific color. Because me. Bless you.
Thank you. It's somewhere around here. Okay, I need to take me an allergy pill.
That's the fact they had all these things back in the day too, like nose jewels. Nose piercings ain't like this is not a new thing. It's something that just has been around for quite a while. It's crazy. Okay, so that basically is chapter 3, and then chapter 4 I'm gonna read. It's shorter than chapter 3. I can't see my face right now because the Bible thing has come across my page. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. And it comes to the button that says pray. And so, here, right here. I can't see my face. But I hope I hope the video's still playing. That's what I do hope.